The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hi everyone, it's Phil Frost from Main Street ROI, and I want to welcome you to today's training, Man versus Machine. This is going to be about intelligent technology for local marketers, the biggest results for the smallest budgets. And I have Beth on the line with me from Acquia. Hey Beth.
Hey Phil, thanks for having me.
Thank you. Let's get the agenda out of the way here. And sorry, Beth, you wanted to do a poll. Do you want to do that right now? Or,
yeah, sure. That's a great idea. Yeah.
Let me jump into that. So there's a quick poll just to see who's on the line. So you should see that on your screen. It says I am a, and then ... small business owner, marketer working for a small business, agency who serves small businesses, or agency servicing all client sizes. I see we got a lot of people voting. Actually, the majority here are agencies. What is that, about 65% agencies. The rest here,
Welcome to the webinar.
small business owners
and attendee in listen-only mode.
and marketers. All right, so it looks like most people have voted. So let me close that out. And
So most of them are agencies.
Yeah, it was interesting.
Okay.
So we do a lot of these trainings, and we find it is quite a bit of a mix here with business owners, marketers, and agencies. Looks like this one's skewed a little bit more towards agencies, and you should be able to see the results. 16% small business owner, 26% marketers, and then 21% agencies serving small businesses, 37% agencies servicing all client sizes. So let me hide that.
Great. Thanks, guys, for participating in that poll.
And here's the agenda. You should see my screen again. I'm going to give a quick intro to online advertising, just kind of set the stage for Beth to then talk about machine learning. She's going to first define machine learning and then talk about how to apply that to local marketing. At the end, we'll have live Q&A. And as always, we will have a couple special offers for the attendees today. Get this going. All right, so Beth, let's have you introduce yourself.
Okay, great. Thank you. So hi, everybody. Thanks for joining today's webinar. We're really excited to talk about marketing, SEM, and how machine learning can be applied. So so I work here at Acquia. I'll tell you a little bit about Acquia on the next slide. Me, myself, I've been working for about 15 years in marketing. I work heavily with tech companies, startups. I'm a speaker and a mentor. Created strategies for clients in artificial intelligence, e-commerce, ad tech, very agency focused. So I'm happy to see that there's a lot of folks on the line from agencies. And if we can go to the next slide. What we do at Acquia is we're an ad management platform. So we have about $1 billion of ad spend under our software. We make 2.4 million bid adjustments per day using our technology. We service in social, search, display, local marketers, as well as larger budgets. But today we're going to focus on small budgets, local marketers, 400 customers, and that's our spiel. Pass it back to you, Phil.
All right, cool. So there's my smiling face. Again, my name is Phil Frost, founder of Main Street ROI, and our business provides digital marketing services like digital advertising in Google AdWords, Bing, and Facebook, as well as SEO, email marketing, and social media. And before Main Street ROI, so I started the business officially January 2011. Before then, I was working with a company managing their ads and helped grow a division of that business from nothing to $4 million in about 4 years. Kind of learned the ropes, and then that helped me launch my own business. And my thought leadership has been featured in Forbes, Inc., Amex, as well as Mashable, and I have a column in Target Marketing Magazine. And a little bit about Main Street ROI. Again, we provide digital marketing services. We also provide training, like free webinars like this one we're doing today, do a lot of free training. We also publish a lot of free information on our blog, and then that goes out via our email newsletter. And we also do paid training courses that go more in depth on a particular topic. And our mission is to really help businesses regardless of their marketing budget. We try to cater to just the small mom and pops that don't have a big marketing budget. That's why we provide a lot of free training and courses for them to do it themselves. And then we also cater to larger businesses and even consultants and agencies. All right, so with the intros out of the way, I'm going to cover the manual side of things. So man plus online advertising. And there's really, we're going to split this up into two segments. I'll touch on the manual side, and then Beth will touch on how to use machines to automate a lot of this process. And I do want to set the stage here and just take a step back so that everyone's on the same page about the three phases of online advertising, which are campaign setup, testing and optimization, and then maintenance and expansion. So every online ad campaign is going to go through these three phases. You need to first build the campaign, and that's the setup process, and there's a lot that goes into getting a campaign set up properly, especially getting the tracking set up properly. I'd say that's the number one mistake that I see businesses making with their campaign setup is not having proper tracking so that they can actually track the performance of their campaigns and run analysis to see return on investment. But a lot goes into the campaign setup, and then once the campaigns launch, you're in the initial testing and optimization phase, and that's where you're trying to figure out what is actually going to work, what ad copy is going to work, which keywords work, which placements, bids, and budgets. And then you kind of iron out those kinks. That can take anywhere from a couple months to, I guess a month, we'll say, to let's say 6 months to really test everything, iron it out. And then you transition into more of a maintenance mode, and then from there expand to other ad networks, and even within the same network, expanding to more keywords, more website placements. So I wanted to give you that overview of online advertising and really let you know that today we're focusing on, once those campaigns are set up, what happens once you click go and actually launch those ads. And that happens in phase 2 and 3 when you're testing, as well as in that maintenance and expansion phase. So once those ads are live, you obviously need to be monitoring those ads and then optimizing or managing those ads. So here's an overview of Ad Management 101. And this is what you need to do either manually or you need to get some help from a machine. And the biggest question is, where should you focus your time? Because let's just focus on Google AdWords. If you're familiar with AdWords and you log in, it can get pretty daunting. There's a lot of data that Google AdWords throws at you, which is good. And it's also bad because it can get pretty confusing if you're a new advertiser and you're not really sure what you should even be looking at. And I like to break it down into 3 areas as far as where you should focus your time. There's the ad targeting and budget allocation, and then there's your ad copy, and there's your landing pages. And you really need to be focused on all 3 of those areas of your campaign, and you want to optimize each area to get the best performance. So if we just focus on that first area, ad targeting and budget allocation, what you're doing there is you're trying to find the best keywords if it's a search campaign. If it's a display campaign, you're trying to find the best placements. You're trying to find the optimal bids for each of those keywords and placements, the optimal budgets for your different campaigns so that you're maximizing your return on investment, and you're minimizing the losses in your campaign as you test new tactics. You also want to find the best ad positions. Based on my experience, you can see drastic changes in your click-through rate and your conversion rate based on the ad position. And you can actually, over time, figure out, hey, it's better for your campaign to be at, let's say, average position 2 than it is to be at number 1 or even number 3. So you need to figure that out over time. You need to figure out the best geographic locations, the best demographics. You can demographically target in Google AdWords as well as Facebook. And then you get into day parting with the best times of day, best days of week. So that's ad targeting. Obviously, a lot goes in there, and we'll dive into more details in just a minute. And then there's ad copy. It's a little bit more straightforward. You're trying to find the best ad copy, what's the best offer. If you're doing display ads, the best images that get the highest click-through rate, highest conversion rate. And there are lots of different ad formats in both AdWords and Facebook. And then once somebody clicks on your ad, they land on your website. Another common mistake I see over and over again, businesses using their homepage as the landing page. And that is a problem because a lot of times your homepage talks about everything that you do. And with an ad, you really want to have it very focused on a particular product or service that you're advertising. And then you want to send them to a specific landing page. And you want to be testing that landing page to find the best copy, the best layout, what's the best call to action, what do you want them to do. And then you can even take that a step further and get into optimizing your sales funnel. If you have an e-commerce website, if you don't have an e-commerce website, then the sales funnel would be everything after that initial contact that your sales team is doing. So those are the 3 core areas. And let's dive into each one as far as what you should be doing on a daily basis, weekly basis, monthly basis. And again, this is the manual side of things. So on depending on the size of your campaign and how many clicks you're getting each day, that will determine the frequency that you need to be logging in and actually monitoring the key metrics in your account. So if you are logging in and you have a lot of data every day, you will likely want to be checking that on a daily basis just to make sure everything is going well. And then on a weekly basis, making some bigger adjustments. If you are not spending a lot of money, then you might just want to, you need to get some more data before you can actually analyze it and make those changes to your account. So that might be on a bi-monthly basis, bi-weekly, or maybe on a monthly basis, you're making some tweaks to your campaign. Key takeaway that, again, I see businesses making decisions using aggregate data, and that's a big mistake. If you just log into your Google AdWords account and go to the campaigns and just look at a campaign level the performance of your account, that really, it's important to do that, and that does show you, okay, overall, how are things going, but you can't really make any decisions based on aggregate data. You don't know if a particular keyword is performing very well or poorly, a particular placement. Maybe it's your ads, maybe it's your landing pages. So the key takeaway here, don't make decisions on the aggregate level data, which I'm saying here is campaign level data. You want to dig in deeper and run reports at the keyword level. So again, if we're in Google AdWords, that would be the keyword tab, looking at performance per individual keyword. If you're in a display campaign, looking at performance per ad placement, looking into performance per geographic location. you can again have pretty drastic performance differences state by state and city by city. Then you want to also take a look at your demographics. In Facebook and AdWords, you can do this. You can look at performance by demographics. In Google AdWords, they'll break it out by age groups, like 18 to, I think it's 23 or 24-year-olds, and then 25 to 30-year-olds. They have different buckets that you'll get data on and actually see, okay, I'm doing really well with, let's say, 65 and older, or maybe you're not doing well with 65 and older, and then you want to make edits to your campaign to change the bids for different demographics. And the same is true for time of day and day of week. And then again, you're going to adjust your bids for each of these different targeting options. And your goal here, ideally you have that tracking in place so that you can see your cost per conversion or cost per lead, cost per sale, and you're going to adjust the bids to get the lowest cost per lead, lowest cost per sale. And then on the budget side of things, you want to find your top performing targets. So let's say it's a search campaign and you find that a particular keyword is just performing very well. You can put that keyword in its own campaign and just make sure you're maxing out the budget for all of your top performing keywords, and then put the rest of your keywords in another campaign where you're capping that budget, and that will minimize your losses as you're testing other keywords. And the same is true with ad placements, and the same is true on Facebook. You want to make sure your budgets are set so that you're focusing your budget on everything that's performing well, and then you're putting a cap on anything that you're testing and hasn't really proven itself yet. All right, so transitioning into ad copy. So that's the first step is your targeting. Again, the amount of work that you're doing with your targeting does depend on the size of the account. And if it's a very small account and you're not getting very many clicks, you won't be able to make any definitive changes until you can actually get more clicks and actually see the data coming in. So it might want to look at that on a weekly basis or every other week, depending on how many clicks you're getting. And then again, a bigger account where you're spending a lot more, maybe you're getting hundreds or even thousands of clicks per day, you definitely want to be reviewing that on a daily basis. And then ad copy, as far as optimizing, you want to always be split testing different ad copy. And you can do this simply by putting multiple ad variations in an ad group. That's how it works in Google AdWords. In Facebook, they call them ad sets. And you just want to put multiple different variations and then let those run and have them rotate evenly. And then again, over time, they'll collect data and you will start to see which ad copy gets the highest click-through rate and which ad copy is getting the lowest cost conversions. And another key takeaway here, and I learned this pretty early on, you don't want to just focus on click-through rate. While that's very important, and click-through rate is just the number of clicks you're getting divided by the number of times the ad was displayed or an impression. So click-through rate is very important. If you're getting 0% click-through rate, that means nobody is actually clicking on your ads. And the higher the click-through rate, the more traffic you'll get. But you also want to be looking at the cost per action or CPA or cost per lead, cost per sale, because you can actually have two different ads. One gets a high click-through rate, but a low conversion rate. And the other one might get a slightly less click-through rate, but a higher conversion rate. And when you run those numbers, the ad that's getting the lower click-through rate is actually driving the lower cost leads and sales. And that might actually be the ad that you want to keep versus the other ad that's getting that high click-through rate, but it's just not leading to leads and sales for your business. So just make sure you're monitoring both of those metrics and don't just make a decision on click-through rate. A lot of times that can lead you actually in the wrong direction. And then another key takeaway is the fact that your ad needs to stand out. That seems pretty obvious, but you know, I've talked to a lot of businesses and audited probably hundreds of accounts at this point, and that is not something that a lot of businesses are thinking about. You actually should search in Google and look at the other competitors, and look at their ads, and really put yourself in your prospect's shoes and think about which ad is the most compelling, and then you know, take a critical eye to your own ads and ask that question. You know, does your ad really stand out? Would you yourself actually choose to click on your ad versus the competitor ads, which oftentimes are making really compelling offers? And when it comes to Google search, having that best offer, having a very compelling ad copy with a compelling offer, those are the ads that get the highest click-through rate. And if you don't have a compelling offer or something compelling to say in your ad, you're likely not going to be able to compete with all those other ads. All right, and the third area is your landing page. So you can do everything right. You can optimize the campaign from a targeting perspective, have really compelling ads, but then a lot of times businesses will drop the ball and send that traffic to a page that's not congruent with the ad copy, and that will just kill conversions. And the key here is congruence, and having a congruent message from the keyword that's searched to the ad copy to the landing page. And by that I mean, if someone is searching for, let's just say, blue aprons, you want to have ad copy that talks about the blue apron that you're selling and have a compelling offer for the blue aprons. And then they need to go to a landing page that obviously is talking about the same offer that you described in your ad, and is obviously presenting them with the same product, the blue aprons that you were promoting. So if you don't do that, if you don't have congruence, that's just going to kill conversion rates, and all that hard work in the targeting and the ad copy is just going to be wasted. And some homework for everyone. I highly recommend the book Don't Make Me Think by Steve Krug. It's actually pretty old at this point. I think I read this maybe back in 2006, 2007. But it's extremely relevant. It was the best book on user experience, which sounds like this overly technical topic, and it sounds like it's only relevant for web developers, but it's actually the layman's version. So Don't Make Me Think really kind of, I don't want to say dumbs it down, that's not the right expression, but it just makes it very easy for someone who's not a developer to understand the importance of user experience and designing for usability. And I highly recommend everyone do that, especially all the agencies on the line, all the marketers and business owners. Really, everyone should be familiar with that, so that when you're looking at your landing pages, you know what to look for, and know how to design a landing page that's actually going to convert those visitors into leads and sales. With that, I'll hand it back to Beth to talk about machines.
Great, thanks, Phil. So that was the perfect setup for the second half of this webinar, because you painted a very clear picture of what a PPC manager has to do to, set up their ad campaigns, manage them, and optimize them over time. And it's the great segue, because we're going to run through now what part of all of that human labor that you guys are doing on a day-to-day basis, what part can be alleviated with machines. I'm going to show my screen. There we go. Got it. Okay, good. So I have the presenter. Thanks, Phil. So let's get to it. Okay. What is machine learning? So machine learning, if I'm just reading this pure definition from Wikipedia, it's a subfield of a computer science that gives computers the ability to learn without being explicitly programmed. So what that means, if everybody is following along, is that machine learning self-learns, right? So we've programmed computers to be able to learn on their own, take in data, and self-improve. And so I just want to make the clear distinction here between machine learning and automation, because they tend to be today, especially with artificial intelligence, this marketing, not jargon, but a marketing, tagline term that companies are using out there. And there's a clear difference. So automation is rule-based. So if this, then that, right? And feel free to jump in here and add on to any of the discussion here. So a rule in PPC would be something like, if this day and this time we turn a campaign off, right? It's easy to understand and it doesn't adapt. It's confined within the if then this rule. Whereas machine learning will take in data and learn and improve and be different. So you can throw different data sets at it and it will take them in, understand, and then keep growing. So that's the distinction between machine learning and automation. There's a combination of both. They're both very, very useful, and they both help alleviate a lot of the PPC work that we have to do. Okay, so let's keep going. I also want to just put a note out there. I don't see very many questions in the question polls. So as we go along, if anybody has questions, just please shoot them out there. I'm happy to answer them. I might answer them, now, or we might wait until the end. So now we know what machine learning is, and this is irrefutable, right? Machines are just faster than humans can ever. It computes more information than we can ever humanly do. They're smarter than the smartest, humans, and they don't get tired like we do, right? We work 8 hours a day. We can't constantly monitor our PPC campaigns 24 hours a day. It's just humanly impossible. And so I'm not sure if everybody's aware of this gentleman. This is a statue of Alan Turing. So Alan Turing is known to be the father of machine learning back from the 1950s. And he believed that machines could perform equal to or better than humans. And this is what this era of machine learning is about today. It's about testing the boundaries of how far a machine can act like a human or even better than a human. And here at Acquia, we're inspired by Turing, and that's why we bring it up. We're constantly asking ourselves internally, do our algorithms kind of pass this Turing test, which is a famous test that he did in the 1950s. So why does all this machine learning matter for local marketers and agencies? And if there's one thing that I hope that you guys walk away with when the hour is over today, it's that the machine learning has a huge beneficial impact to marketers, and that it does matter. So for us to kind of review why it matters, we're going to go through the problems that marketers face today, okay? So we already saw with what Phil presented that campaign setup, testing optimization, maintaining our PPC campaigns takes a lot of work, right? Now, when we're doing all that work on very small budgets, it's hard to manage campaigns simply because there's not a lot of data. So if you are a small business, okay, and you have $200 a month to spend on ads, that's not very much, right? You might have 100 clicks, maybe 200 clicks a month. That's not a lot to learn from and then benchmark for better testing moving forward. So that's a huge limitation. Lack of expertise is another limitation. AdWords is a beast. AdWords changes all the time. There are people make their livings out of being experts just in AdWords, right? So if it's not your full-time job, it's hard to learn, and then it's hard to keep up with, of course. And then there's a lack of time to manage and optimize these campaigns. So again, if you're a small business owner, you know that you want to advertise, you know it's going to help you grow your business, but at the same time, you just don't have the time because you're managing 1,000 other things. If you're an agency and you're managing 200 accounts, well, you can only spend maybe 10 minutes a week, a day, not even every other, you don't spend as much time as you would like to managing your accounts because you have so many at scale that you're trying to supervise. So, and if we just look at some more, and these are true to everybody. I'm sure you're all nodding your head going, yes, I wish I had more expertise. I wish I had more time to manage my campaigns. But let's look at some facts now, some hard data. Customer acquisition is hard. It's really hard for small businesses. So if this is a report from the Corporate Executive Board from last year, and I'd like for you to just draw your attention to the first bar. So we see that sales and customer acquisition in yellow is the most difficult task by far compared to all of those other bars. And at the same time, it's also the most time consuming. So what this tells us is acquisition is important, extremely important. It's pivotal to the success of any business, small, big, medium size. And yet it's also the hardest, and it's a time suck, right? So this is an opportunity for companies like Acquia to step up and help small business owners with their acquisition and help them thrive. We see here that almost half of SMBs just don't have time. This is just more proof to the pudding. And almost half as well have no experience. No big surprise here. And here we have see that 62% of SMBs, they don't even know whether their marketing works or not. And that to me is really sad. And so what happens here is we get churn. So, small businesses, they'll start their advertising, whether on their own or with an agency. And because they don't have any direct ties to whether this marketing is working or not, right? So they'll say, I might have it, more traffic coming into my store, but is it really because of my ads? I don't know. Then they abandon. They stop investing because the money is so important for them, right? Every dollar counts for a small business. So machine learning matters because they can help. They really can. And I'm going to show you how. So automation and machine learning can do all of this. And Phil, I think that you're going to agree this pretty much touches on most of what you set up earlier in this webinar. So automation can actually create AdWords accounts. It can, given certain parameters, criteria, it can create the campaign structure and taxonomy, meaning the ad groups. It can even pick out keywords. So if you tell a machine, in particular, and I will give a real life example. This is something that our tool does. If we give a machine a vertical, so say, hi, my business is in plumbing and in Cincinnati, then we can build out keywords based on that information with a machine. So literally no human intervention. Machines can also do ad copy, and we can get into that a little bit more in a little bit. It can manage bids, it can manage budgets, and the most important zinger here is that the machines do their best work on conversion optimization. And we'll get into that as well. Okay? So if I look back at everything that a machine can do, I can bucket them into two kind of categories: money management and suggestive creative. Money management being mostly bids and budgets, right? And how can we optimize bids and budgets across multiple campaigns? Because mostly, when you're doing human work, you're looking at each campaign individually. Whereas a machine can look at across campaigns, right? And decide which campaigns we have to allocate more budget to, which ones we need to bid higher for. Across device, across geography, time of day, you get the picture, right? And a machine can look at all of this in a millisecond and make those decisions based on historical data. And then the second one is suggestive creative. So creative is, how could I say this? It's like, it's this gray zone, right? Where you need a human to come in with strategy and actually make creative. But then you have machines that can tell you which creative works best. So creative things is keyword selection, ad copy, ad testing, audience segmentation. Machines can do all of that. And the big takeaway here is that machines self-improve, self-improve being the operative word. And they adjust in real time, as opposed to humans who adjust, when they get around to doing their campaign supervision, whether it's a daily or a weekly basis. So this is all cool, and a big hot topic, this with artificial intelligence, machine learning is sure, great, but can I trust it? So if you're an account manager, right? So let's say you have 200 accounts. And you're like, okay, I'm going to put all of my accounts into this machine. And I'm going to cross my fingers and hope that it optimizes and does what it's supposed to do. And can I trust it? Yes, you can. That's the answer. The answer is absolutely. Would I trust machines to deliver a baby or drive my car? Right? Well, Google already does. But in those kind of contexts, I would say no. However, with advertising, you can, and I'll show you why. So here's a real-world example of what we do at Acquia. And I might be biased, and I don't want to make this webinar too much about Acquia, but I'm using us because I have all the data and I know exactly what we do, and I can answer all of your questions. And it's, there's Acquia who's using machine learning for PPC. We're one of the only ones who do that in the PPC world, but machine learning is being applied to other areas of marketing across North America. But let's talk about Acquia. So we have 30 highly sophisticated predictive algorithms that analyze and react in real time. So what this means, if you look at those 4 circles there, the first one is bid management. How much do we need to be bidding in order to convert? Either we want to optimize our campaigns for clicks, or we want to optimize them for conversions, being conversion to a sale or conversion to a sign up, whatever that is. Then we have frequent and consistent optimization. So it's around the clock, it never stops. Third, it's the budget allocation. And this one is hyper important, that not a lot of people realize the importance of allocating a budget consistently over the month. And what that means is, if I have $100 to spend in a month, I'm not going to blow it on my first weekend of the month because there was a surge in demand. And then what do you do for the rest of the month? You have no more sales, right? Same goes even for a $4,000 budget, a $10,000 budget. You need to pace a budget carefully so that the machines can learn and optimize, but also so that you have your consistent sales or whatever results you're looking for over the month. And then finally, the cross-publisher distribution. And that's an interesting one too. So what the algorithm does is it can look on Google and it can look on Bing. And then it can swap the budgets and the campaigns between them, depending on which ones are performing the best. So given all of these parameters, these 4 sets, the output is astounding on how much optimization you can actually have. And let's just be honest, this is hard to do manually as a person, but the machines, they can. Okay, so here's a case study. Census, they're our friends over in Australia. If you've never heard of them, they are the likes of a Yellow Pages group, for example. They service many smaller to medium-sized accounts. And so here you can see they onboarded with us back in 2015. And if you look at the red line, the average cost per click was just under $1.20. And then as the machine learns, it takes a few months to learn, and then the results start getting better. And then you could see that we're still even getting better into 2017 on their costs per click going down to 80 cents. And then the reverse is true for the average number of clicks. The number of clicks go up. So you have clicks going up, costs going down, with little human interaction. The only human interaction that census has to do is have somebody monitoring, supervising. So they'll look into the accounts, they check in on them once in a while. But the accounts that are status quo, in other words, that don't need to change copy or change any kind of campaign structure, they just stay the same. Well, they just self-improve. And there's that word again, self-improve, which is what the machines are doing. Now, I also just wanted to show you guys this one, because this one is on an account that's a little bit bigger. This one's $600. And if I just go back to show you, because I'm sorry, I forgot to mention it, these are accounts that average $70 of ad spend a month. So it's a tiny account. And now back to this slide here, we're looking at these accounts at $600. And you'll see a higher cost per click, but the similar trend is happening here, where the clicks are going up and the costs are going down. Okay? Now, this is another example. So Acquia, we launched a new product very recently called Promote. And what this product does is it's a fully automated, from ad creation to reporting and optimization for a small business. And so the gift that's showing you right now is showing you the experience of a small business owner who signs up to Promote. And I'll just tell you a little bit, not long, just maybe 2 minutes. We're doing good on time. We have another 20 minutes, but we do want to leave time for questions. So what Promote does is a small business owner can sign up themselves, and they say, I'm a plumber, and I'm in Denver, and I want to spend $200 a month, and that's all they have to do. From there, the machine creates the campaign, they create the taxonomy, the keywords, and then they actually, it's an automated landing page. And I'll be honest with you, automating landing pages is nothing new. It's just part of this full service product. But what's new and what's disruptive in this entire industry is that this product is also using the same machine learning that Acquia has been, that we've been perfecting for 4 years now, to optimize on the tiny budgets. Okay, and what's the reason why Acquia in particular is so good at optimizing the small budgets is because we are looking at a larger pool of data that we take in, so that the small business budget out of the gate is already going to be performing better than they would themselves, because we're kind of injecting it with all of this knowledge that we have from the pool of data. So I don't know if you remembered earlier when I was introducing myself, but we have $1 billion of ad spend that runs through our platform. So it's constantly learning and getting better at the different sets. And so there you go. So that's why this is a new product on the market that's A to Z, probably the easiest tool for anybody to get up and running with AdWords. Now, I say that, and that's it's also a product that can be used by agencies on a white label basis. So this means that now, profit ROI is accessible to SMBs for budgets as low as $99, with new capabilities that are enabled by machine learning. So I hope I'm selling you on the machine learning aspect. And I'm actually going to poll everybody at the end of the webinar. We'll see what you think. Okay, so more proof, campaigns that are on machine learning. What we did was we took 20,000 of our local accounts that spend less than $500 a month, okay? And then we took accounts at the same ad spend range that do not use machine learning, okay? And then we compared them. And so we see that campaigns that are using machine learning are 2.5 times more likely to hit their budget targets, okay, at the end of the month. On AdWords, and 7 times more likely on Bing, which is interesting because there was a huge difference there. The same study also shows us, that campaign managers are saving 65% of their time. So it frees up resources, and it makes PPC managers a lot happier, right? Because they're just spending time on more creative, on more strategy, doing much less grunt routine work, which I think all of us would be happy to do. It can reduce the cost per click by 33%. You saw that before in the census case study. And this is another very good data point to know. It's that the accounts using machine learning are living 34% longer than accounts who don't. And we're hypothesizing this, that there's a correlation there, meaning that because the performance is better when the accounts are on machine learning, the small accounts, they churn less. So they're advertising for a longer period of time. So this is just a summary of everything that I just presented on how these accounts outperform, outlive, and create more efficiencies for everybody. So 70% more conversions, 33% more clicks, better lifetime customer value, saving time, and more likely to hit your budgets. Okay, so this is one of the last slides that we have here, and I just wanted to kind of summarize man versus machine, which was the title of this webinar. Now, of course, you know, the man or woman, we should have made this gender neutral, Phil. Sorry about that, everybody. Oh, God. Okay, so, you know, as a human, let's backpedal in the man part. What do you still need? What do we still need to do as PPC managers? Okay, well, strategy, of course, creative. You know, if we have display, creative, monitoring campaigns is important. If there are environmental changes, economic changes that the machines are unaware of, then we have to, you know, we have to manage that budget. Hello, Phil, can you hear me?
Yes,
Okay.
you went
Phil?
out for
Did we have a little cut
just a minute.
I'm sorry about that. It must be the bunker that I'm in where we're recording the webinar. Okay. Well, let's see. So when I'm just running through what we still have to do as PPC managers that the machine can't, right? So creative, campaign monitoring, any kind of environmental changes, any budget changes. So if you're increasing your budget, decreasing your budget, that you still have to do manually. And then, of course, interpreting the data that we're getting from the machine learning, which is the fun part of being an online marketer. It really is. That's the inspiring part. And then the machine, let the machine do everything that's routine. So the data comprehension, the keyword selection, the optimization, performance suggestions, the account creation and whatnot. Okay. And then I'm gonna just close out here with Oscar. Oscar is a client of ours. He's one of our early adopters using the new product called Promote, that A to Z app that I was showing you before. And so he has an agency who built his website, and his agency asked him for $800 a month to manage his online advertising. And he said no, because he couldn't afford it, right? And then so he started using Promote. And he spent $200, and in his first month, he made $2,000. You know, so he loves the experience of being online. He's so happy because he says, you know, I'm on page number 1 of Google. Even though he's not all the time, he just did it. He Googled himself once and he found his ad. It just happened to land on his ad. But still, that whole experience of him being online, he gets about 20 phone calls a month out of a $200 budget, and he closes, you know, a quarter of those calls or so, and he's making money. And he's just one example. And so he's an example. He did it by himself, but if an agency wanted to offer this as a service to their small business clients, they can as well. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do this poll. Okay. Sorry, I didn't want to do, I wanted to get to the poll. Phil, could you pull out the poll question number 2?
Yes. I just launched that.
So I see it. Thank you. So do you believe that machine learning can and is beneficial to the local marketer? It's a little bit of a leading question, I will admit. Let's see, are we going to get answers?
Yes, it looks like 95% yes. Let me close that out.
I have done my job. I can walk away happy now. Okay. Oh, okay, wonderful. So that result was 95%? Yes.
Yes,
Okay,
here's the 95 yes, 5% no.
got it. Awesome. Okay. Well, thank you everybody for participating in that poll. I really appreciate it. Let's see. I had a few testimonials that I was going to run through, but I don't think that you guys need to see those. If we could just jump right to the special offers, and then answer some questions because we do have a bunch of questions, Phil.
Okay, perfect. So I will let you just click through. I think it's just one slide for me.
Go ahead.
Okay, perfect. So for attendees, we have two special offers, one from Main Street and one from Acquia. So the one from us, I already mentioned we provide a lot of training, and we put together 3 video trainings. So it's a bundle of 3 90-minute step-by-step video training courses. You get how to create a profitable Google AdWords campaign, how to optimize a Google AdWords campaign, and the introduction to Google Analytics and how to measure your online marketing campaigns. You can see those are normally sold for $97. You can actually go to mainstreetroi.com/training, and you can see them on our site. So that's a normal price of $291, but we're giving attendees all 3 for the price of 1. So you can get all 3 for only $97, and you can go get that at mainstreetroi.com/AdWords bundle. That is it.
Awesome. Okay, and Acquia, we had an offer as well. Let's see, sorry, to the next slide. So we're happy to offer a 10% off of a year's subscription for Acquia, being the larger Acquia platform, which includes campaign management, cross-publisher, reporting, of course, the machine learning optimization and support. And if you're looking for a solution that is more like the promote solution, then I welcome you to, or I invite you, sorry, to go to getpromote.com. You can also contact me. You can find me on Twitter at Beth Tui. Direct message me, and I'm happy to answer questions, have a chat, talk about our products, anything you like. So we have maybe 5 minutes or so to answer a few questions. Phil, do you mind if I choose the question?
Sure. Yeah, I was actually going to ask a question from Sean.
Yes.
I was thinking about this as well. Do you optimize for cost per call?
Yes. Yes, that's possible. Absolutely.
And I guess I had a follow-up question to that. Does machine learning, or maybe you just can speak to Acquia, does that require different tracking, or if you're already set up with the AdWords tracking, does Acquia link into that tracking? Can you just clarify how that would work?
That's exactly it. So our reporting, so it depends whether we're talking about the larger platform or promote. So the larger platform pulls in from all of the publishers, and then you can have a one global view of Google, Facebook, Bing in the same report. But yes, the data pulls from the original publisher, which would be Google, for example. And on the promote side, the tracking is simple. The tracking is by call, as well as it records every call. So inside of the app, you can listen to the calls that you received. And then we have the reporting on the conversions from the landing page to the calls as well. And then with the package, with your monthly package information. So you see, every promote customer would see right away, well, I spent $200 on ads, and I got 40 calls this month. That make sense?
Okay. Yes, that makes sense. And then Mahir was hoping we could chat those URLs for the special offers. I did post my URL, which was the AdWords bundle. And if you could just go back to your slide. Okay. Yeah.
That's okay. I'll do it right now. Yep, no problem. So that we.
Let's see.
Sean had another good question here, if you don't mind my grabbing.
Sure.
So he says, how can you run a campaign at $200 when Google says that is insanely under budget? And Sean, you are right. Google does say that it's insanely under budget. but who cares? It's still possible. So here's the thing. Yeah, Google just wants us to spend more money, and we love Google. Google's giving us this opportunity to advertise and drive business, right? But with $200, you will still be getting clicks, and you can still make sales out of that $200, right? And so, and then depending on how we treat those sales, you can close them. It's with like, you know, Oscar was proof, and we have hundreds of other customers as proof on $200 budgets. It can turn an immense ROI. And the beautiful part about it, using a tool, is that you're doing it without a headache, right? Whether it's yourself as an advertiser or as an agency, there's an operational efficiency there where you don't have to spend the time putting them up and learning them. It's just going to go and happen. So it's I wouldn't say that it's entirely risk-free, because it's advertising, and you never know, you could be getting bogus clicks, you know, if something isn't set up correctly. But the machines do it well, and we see the proof in that. I hope that answers your question, Sean.
I will actually I'll follow up on that, because that's a great point that Beth made as far as Google's always trying to make more money. So they're always going to say, you know, you should increase your budget, even though, you know, the data might not be telling you to actually increase your budget. And the other thing to be careful about is your bids. So I talked earlier about bid management, and Google is pretty good about highlighting keywords where it says, hey, you really need to increase your bid to get on the first page. Well, a lot of times it's actually not true. And I think that's what Beth is saying, that with machine learning, they can actually get you low cost clicks, and you can do that manually as well. And you can test this in your campaigns. You can actually reduce your bids so that it is under the first page recommended bid that Google's telling you.
Right.
You'll still get traffic, and it might actually be at a cost per conversion that fits your business model. And that's actually what you should be doing, versus trying to listen to Google, which Google's telling you need to triple or quadruple your bid to get on that, you know, first page. So just watch out for that.
Yeah, I've even seen campaigns that rank in the lower rankings of the ad position, but do better because it's a more higher intent click, right? Because somebody's actually taking the time to run through the ads and decide which one they want to click.
Exactly. Sean had a follow-up. Won't that destroy the quality score and be at the bottom of the page? Google does factor in position as far as the click-through rate in calculating your quality score, and that's obviously getting a little bit technical here, but long story short, I wouldn't worry about that. And again, just pay attention to your own metrics. And I guess that's kind of a hidden benefit to using a third-party platform, is that you're not in AdWords getting bombarded with AdWords telling you to increase bids, increase your budget, add all of these other keywords. There's definitely a little bit of a benefit to being outside of Google AdWords, especially with a small budget, so that you're not tempted by Google's recommendations. Oh, Beth, can you still hear me?
Yeah, I can. No, you're absolutely right. Yeah, I'm following. I believe that we're out of time. Yeah.
Yes, we are out of time here. Somebody asked if we are going to send a replay, and the answer is yes. We should have an email to you within the next 24 hours with the replay and a copy of the slides, as long as, Beth, you're okay sharing the slides.
Oh, of course, 1,000%. And I would also invite everybody to follow the Acquia blog, because a lot of these answers here that we didn't get around to, they're very frequent topics on our blog. All
right, great. Well, thanks to Beth. I really appreciate the training today.
Thank you. It was fun.
All right, take care, everyone.
Bye now.